tell your journey. It's all about, I'm not an expert, but from what I've done, is just tell them what you're up to every week and what you're going through, emotionally and physically, what you're going through every week, so then they get to know you a little bit better. But nothing's more better than word of mouth and doing a good job. If you do a good job with the client, they'll just pass your details on to the next person, won't they?
That's really cool.
Yeah, so for 120 quid for Domino's, I got 3 clients on.
So we are here at the International Franchise Show, and I'm joined by Ryan from Tezlom. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
How's it all going at your own?
Yeah, it's hot over there. I've just asked Simon to turn the temperature down. It's going to take about half an hour apparently. But yeah, it's all right. I've just left a lady on the stand, so we're having a chat with her, with Gemma.
Okay.
So yeah, I think like everything, you come to these and it starts, doesn't it? You think there's going to be a massive rush of people, and you're like rushing to get here for 10 o'clock, and then it goes 10 o'clock and nothing changes. And you stand there going, where's all the people? But then I think you just realise that it takes a bit of time, and then if you're further back down the hall as well, I feel like it takes a bit of time for people to make their way through.
Yeah.
But that's the first one we've probably had a good conversation with.
Okay.
We haven't got a territory available, but we're having a look at it now. But yeah. So with these shows, I always just take it as that you have to be in it to win it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. So when people come and talk to you, what are they finding out? Like, what is Tezlom? What do you do?
So Tezlom is basically, in a nutshell, a recruitment business. So that's it. We're a recruitment agency, but we specialise in healthcare, and then we also specialise in another bit of it as well. Is we only supply care assistants, nurses, and support workers. We do temporary and permanent recruitment. So temporary recruitment, say a nursing home short-staffed, and they have to by law try and cover the shift.
Yeah.
They would ring us and say, Ryan, can you get us a shift tonight? We need a nurse for an 8/8 cover tonight. And we're constantly recruiting people with experience in the UK, getting them compliant to working with the clients, and we're getting their availability every week. So they ring us and say, oh, we'll book in, someone will ring us for a shift. We'd go for our nurses, check, Sharon, can you do a shift tonight for us? Oh yeah, I can, no problem. And Sharon turns up, does the shift, and we pay her weekly. And then the other side of it is the permanent recruitment. So same client, for instance, they need a new manager or deputy manager. They come to us and we do the recruitment on their behalf. It saves them a fortune, and obviously we make some money by placing that candidate. But because we're constantly recruiting and constantly got adverts out, you've always got a database of people to go at.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
So you've obviously built up a lot of trust in the sector.
Yeah.
How did you go about building that with clients?
I think trust comes from doing a good job. I think it just comes from doing a good job. We can all get testimonials, can't we? We can all get video testimonials, and they're important. I do get them. But nothing's more better than word of mouth and doing a good job. If you do a good job with the client, they'll just pass your details on to the next person, won't they? And it doesn't matter about the testimonial then, because it's already done within verbally to communicating. So being established for 15 years, we've got a good name for ourselves, and it's from just being, I think in our industry, if you can't do the job, it's okay to let the client down, but just tell them and communicate that, and just be human about it. And I think being very, very human and being realistic about stuff, and just being a real person about how you deal with your clients is probably the way we've structured our business. We're quite real. I think it helps. I think some sectors in recruitment can feel a bit unrealistic and a bit commercial and a bit abrupt and harsh, and we're not like that at all.
No, having known you, I know that you personally are not like that.
Yeah, well, we're not. I just think it's I just think it's a shit way to do business. I feel like years ago, people expected that level of thing where it's like a strict professional, that sort of thing. But I think over time, people have just changed. Social media's had a big play on it. The internet's had a big play on it. People can find out more about a company now, and there's reviews and websites with listings on and things like that. So you have to be real. You have to be as real as possible. I feel like you can't hide behind that professional facade anymore. You have to be real and get back to your clients and have that personal relationship, and that's where having a personal brand and all that, this could open to a massive conversation, but that's where it all comes into it. Like in 10 seconds, Steph, we can find out who owns any company and probably find them on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
We could probably find a video about them straight away.
Yeah.
And it's that bit about having that real relationship with them.
Yeah. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously something that you're passionate about and you do a lot in terms of your own personal brand.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It came about. When I started off in 2000, and I think it was 2010 or 2011, I had my first recruitment business. I was just looking at ways to try and get known, and that's how it started really for me. It's just trying to find different ways of getting known. Now we can do digital marketing and we can do vlogs and we can do all the other stuff, but I think for me it was just trying to get my name out there and getting my clients to know me, and that's how it started, and just going from there. And I think also being a leader in a business, you have to. It's that word, isn't it? Lead.
Yeah.
If you want your team to do it, guess what?
You've got to do it.
Yeah, you've got to do it. So I just champion it the best I can myself, and it's not always easy because social media can be a hard place sometimes. But as long as you try and be consistent, and drive the same messages, and talk about the same thing, be real again. So I feel like there's no disconnect from me meeting me in the person to me on LinkedIn or me on Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's no disconnect, and I feel that's where you've got to have a strong personal brand, is when people meet you and they know everything about you, or they think they know everything about you.
Yeah.
And that's it, innit? That's what I'm passionate about, is because I felt that I wanted my clients to know who I was, and it works quite well, so that's what I do.
So do you expect that same level from your franchisees?
I try to get it, but the other thing what you've got to think is a lot of the time franchisees are getting into it, and all they're trying to do is get into business and so there's a big learning curve that they're going through just trying to run a business, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I do actually go on about it. It is part of our training to do the LinkedIn training. We're going to be doing our next conference, and I'm going to be doing a lot on it. So I do try and teach them to have a personal brand, and some of them do. Some of them don't. It's like everything in life. Some people are really comfortable with it, and some people aren't. It's just.
Yeah.
I think when you see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
I think it's like you have to actually. Some people need that financial tick.
Yeah.
So like I know having my personal brand on LinkedIn has brought me business. I've categorically had messages of someone giving me a national contract from the back of my social media. And I've obviously got the contact, got the email, got the contact, made it happen.
Yeah.
And we're now trading with that company because of my LinkedIn. And I think when you've done that, and it's no longer an ego thing, or it's no longer just hoping for the best, that's when the reality comes in, and that's when it becomes important, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the bit, isn't it? When it becomes important, that's when it ticks that box of, right, I've got to keep doing this.
Yeah. And when you see the results, and the franchisee network will see, like, oh, Ryan's won a national contract that everyone benefits from.
Yeah.
And then they can pick up on that as well.
Exactly. And I just teach them how I do. Just tell your journey. It's all about, I'm no expert, but from what I've done, is just tell them what you're up to every week and what you're going through, emotionally and physically, what you're going through every week. So then they get to know you a little bit better. And then when you do reach out to a client, you add them on and reach out and say, I'm in the area next week, can I come and see you? It's not like such a cold thing, because at least they know what you look like.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you use a filter, which
But yeah, so that's why it's important to me.
Yeah. So what kind of people fit within the Tezlom franchise?
It's a tough one. I've gone round and round in circles with this. It seems to be living in a land of like around between late 30s up to 50s, and it seems to be like a family business.
Okay.
And it seems to be always like husband and wife, daughter and dad, or brothers and brothers, and so that's always seems to lend in that at the minute.
Okay.
And it always seems to be someone from a health background in the family.
Okay.
So like Hima's a nurse, Rosalind's a nurse, Mona, Umar's missus, she works in domiciliary care. They've all got some healthcare related background, and then some business knowledge, and that's what it seems to be landing. That's the profile that we've sort of created, and that's what it is. So I feel like it's always someone who knows about healthcare and is sort of passionate about it, and then that's where it's landed. But I'm sorry, I just go down I have to have a gut feeling about them people. I know that some people have really rigorous onboarding process, and I do, but for me, I need to feel that person. I need to understand what the why is, what they're doing it for, what type of person they are, how they conduct their life. You know, are they emotionally intelligent? Are they why they're doing it, sort of thing. I know a lot of people do the profit and the loss and the projections and the exit plan, and they are important.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're a franchise and you're a franchisor, you really need to get to know your franchisees, and I need that emotional bit to work on, because I end up being a bit of a sounding board as a franchisor, and it's that emotional bit that I end up going on with them, that coaching session. So that's what's important to me.
Okay. So in terms of emotional intelligence, for those that are not really aware of what that is, what does that mean to you?
I think emotional intelligence for me is tuning into how someone's feeling on a day to day, and understanding that everyone's human. Everyone's going through mad shit. Everyone's going through something, and being tuned into that, and sometimes being empathetic and sympathetic to situations that you wouldn't usually be, or in a commercial environment you certainly wouldn't used to be. It'd be simple, cut across, why you're not performing, what are these figures that it's like, well, can we just dig a little bit deeper onto that, what's actually going on, and or why actually really struggling with this, and like, okay, why are you struggling with that, let's have a deeper, more, get under the skin of it, and do you need professional help, or is there anything we can do to support you through that? And I think that bit of it, emotional intelligence to me is exactly what it is being aware of someone's emotions and being empathetic and sympathetic to that situation the best you can. Obviously, you've got to try and push people and drive them, but find out what makes them click and why they're doing it, and making sure they feel full of purpose and determination to carry on, and understanding all around it. That's what it means to me anyway.
Okay, I guess that's kind of important. Like, if a franchisee has like their staff that they're working with, they would need to know to send them to the right organisation or to the right service that you're providing.
100%. So, when you're doing interviews all the time, because it's two things, isn't it? You get your client on, so you go and see your client, you find out what your client's like, you need to get your manager really well, the service place, where it is, what it's located, how long it's been going for, all that side of thing. And then you've got to tie up at the other end with your agency workers, so you're interviewing them constantly, finding out why they do agency work, what's their emotional ties to why they do it, because a lot of them need flexibility for personal reasons, their experience, and then the two tie together.
So in terms of a franchisee, what can they expect to be doing on like a day-to-day basis?
So day-to-day basis, we do like a little plan with them. So I'll sort of go through that plan with you. But on Mondays, if you were up and established and running, Monday's always payroll day for us. So because we get paid weekly, the agency workers. So getting timesheets in, checking the invoice, running payroll, getting them timesheets checked, bringing all the clients, confirming things with them, getting PO numbers, etc. You'll obviously be covering shifts as well. So there's a lot of shifts for the week coming in or the following week coming in. So you've got the two edges there. So you'll spend the day doing that, and then also, if you're a bit more established, you'll have a few team members. So that would be like the payroll side of it, making sure the timesheets are done. But then the other side of it is with the recruitment. So a lot of people apply for jobs on Sundays. Don't want to go back to work. Don't want to go to work on Monday.
That's interesting.
So then Monday morning, pick up all your CVs, start interviewing them, booking them in for Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday's generally like a recruitment day, so interviews. Wednesday admin, so processing them applicants, getting the details, sending the references off, and processing the applications. Again, confirming Thursday's interviews. Friday out doing visits, or Thursday out doing visits and do interviews on Friday. And that's how it is. Just that's your daily week. Is one day a week, or depends if you've got a lot of recruitment done and that's gone well, you might want to go and see some more clients. If you just toss it between there. But that's day to day. So it's generally just talking to people most of the time.
Okay.
It's definitely a talking business. It's understanding your clients and understanding your candidates.
Okay, so you need someone that's slightly extroverted that can talk to people, maybe, or
you need to be
introverted but can talk to people.
I feel like you can either be a salesperson and you're always talking sales, but if you are a salesperson or that type of person, you will need someone in your office supporting you with the admin.
Yeah.
Because naturally, salespeople aren't amazing at admin, and naturally, process-driven admin people aren't amazing at sales. So it's the two sides that you need covering, because you'll just not champion the best out of everything if you don't do that.
No, that's true. So you're obviously admin.
I love my admin. I love just checking the dates on passports. If I've got nothing, I'll quite happily do that all day long.
Genuinely?
Fucking
not
joking.
even close.
I've never looked at a passport.
I can't even see you sitting still long enough.
I've not looked at my own passport for 10 years, never mind some fucker else's.
Yeah. Just the one I've checked that
Yeah. Yeah, no. Admin is not my bag at all. I got took off recruitment because I used to just get the application form, just like literally write the guy's name at the top and pass it. He was minting.
But you don't want your franchisees doing that, do you?
Yeah, don't do what I do. It's funny when you're coaching franchisees. It's so funny because you have to teach them a certain way of teaching sales, but I've never done it the way we like. I'm like, how do you teach people? Like, I've done some mad stuff trying to get business on, and it works. But I feel like you have to be a certain type of people. But obviously, you need a foundation, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
You need a foundation. You can't go into someone and say, yeah, just do this and it'll pull it off, and it works. We've done some good stuff though. In lockdown, we did a couple of good ones. We sent some pizzas to a client, and that went really well.
Nice.
That was a good one. With that one, we sent pizzas to the home, and they took pictures. It hit the local press because it was in lockdown.
Cool. Yeah.
And then the lady we sent them to, we found out her husband was a director of a massive mental health hospital. And then he started using us. So that home started using us. They started using us. We hit the local press, got loads of social media out of it. Then she left and went to another service. That service carried on using us, and then she went to a new service and they carried using us.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so for 120 quid for Domino's, I got 3 clients on.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So
but you can't train that.
But that's unfortunately that's not in the operations manual.
That's hilarious.
But the biggest client I got on, Steph, was back in 2007. Back to personal branding. I created a blog on because I was supplying teachers and getting them to create course content. So we created that and we were sharing it through the Twitter page. So I had loads of NQTs sharing the blogs of lesson plans. Anyway, cut a long story variable, I tweeted the chief exec of this children's charity that has schools in it and said, can I talk to you about staffing? He said, yeah. So I said, I DM'd him, we followed each other back, got his number. Steph, it's now been our longest client, I've been there 15 years, we've been supplying staff to them. They're our biggest client, so we're a £3 million business, turnover at head office. And it's a charity, and 11 years ago, they asked me to be a trustee. And then I helped David, who's the chief exec, through a bullying situation for being homosexual, and he was getting bullied by some of the board. And I went to the charity commission with that, and I went through a big learning curve with that. So I was the chair of the board for 6 years, and now I'm back being a trustee, and we've got a new chair on. So from one tweet, trying to raise a profile, I've got the longest client we've ever had, one of the biggest clients. I've been a trustee for a charity and a chairman. So it's the power of personal brand, isn't it? But you don't realise until, like I say, until you do it and you tick that box, you don't realise.
No, but it's also the power of connection, and it's the power, like, everyone in franchising pretty much knows Ryan Armitage.
Yeah.
Most people love you, some might not.
What are you talking about you, Steph?
Not talking about myself. Obviously, I'm like #1 fan. And it's that kind of, you connect really well with people, and you know that's part of who you are. That's part of just your personality, your persona, and that's something that you're helping to raise a profile on behalf of the franchisees as well. So they benefit from your persona.
100%.
You're crazy. Here I am. It's me, Ryan.
It works though. It's not. I don't even try and put it on though. It's just something that I think's important. So. Like I say, when it becomes important, it becomes something you do on a daily habit, isn't it? And it becomes something that I think it's important. So it works for me, networking, creating connections. Also, I'm not a massive, I do read books, but I'm not someone who can concentrate for a long amount of time. I get bored really quickly.
Really? Shocker.
Well, you know.
That's absolutely shocking.
So what I find is chatting to people. I'd rather have a conversation with someone, so I kind of have to go and make these connections and have these conversations. Because if I do it, then I get that information that I need.
Yeah.
And that's where I mean, everyone, I'm not Superman, everyone fucking does that, don't they? Everyone can go and talk to people, but I just find that's my thing. I really like it, and I get a lot from it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that, and a lot of people do connect with you.
Yeah.
Like whenever I look on LinkedIn, it's always Ryan. I'm like, there are other people in the industry. Ryan. All right.
Got to do it. Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? That's it. Why we do it. Isn't it?
But like one of the things I've really noticed is that you absolutely love the franchise industry. You're passionate about franchising.
Yeah.
Where has that come from?
Mum and dad. So I was born into it. I know it sounds like some out of a film, but I was literally fucking born into it. So mum and dad have been in franchising for years and years. So I was born into it. My career started in this car sales because my dad was a car sales trainer back in his 20s and 30s and 40s, and then they've been in franchising for years as well. I knew about it growing up. I was always around conversations, privy to mum and dad talking about things and understanding, and I remember being at the house with writing franchise agreements and stuff like that. So I had understanding of it. So when I got the opportunity to start my own, that was it. So I think I've just always been passionate about that side of it. I kind of like, what makes me tick the most is I fucking hate it because I sound cliche and cheesy, but it is kind of cool, isn't it? You sell someone a business, you know it works, and then when you see them buy a new house or get a new car or they've gone on holiday or it's working for them and they're getting it for like I know it sounds super cheesy. I'm trying not to be fucking super cheesy.
Just pour out the cheese, just lashings.
But it's cool, isn't it? And then the bit that sets me on fire inside is like that emotional conversation and coaching, and it's those 10 o'clock at night conversations about fucking hell, Ryan, this happened today, or I've just had someone fucking hand the notice in who's been with me since the start, and like how'd you get through that? Or your biggest client drops you, or something bad happens in the family and they can't cope, and it's just, that's what sets me on fire.
Yeah, and that comes from your personal experience, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, so that's
yeah, it's really cool. So Ryan, if someone wanted to find out about Tezlom, what do they do? Apart from follow you on LinkedIn.
I think the best place to start if you're looking at a franchise of Tezlom would be YouTube. There's quite a lot of content on YouTube about Tezlom. The Tezlom website's got everything you need on it, tezlomfranchising.com. But like I just said, just pick up the phone. Just go on Tezlom, type it in Google, pick up the landline, it goes straight through to my mobile or Gems, and just pick up the phone and have a chat with us. That's like, I think, the best source of having a conversation and finding out a bit about us. And then we're more than happy to come and see you. We do discovery days and franchisees. You can speak to all the franchisees. So
So you're here at the International Franchise Show.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to get from the rest of the weekend?
I would love to have some good conversations. I want to have some good conversations with some people, potentially some franchisees. Hopefully around Bristol would be lovely. I'm not any franchise around Bristol. But yeah, I feel like for me, it's being in it to win it. So loads on social media, have some good conversations with people in the industry, if anything, because I feel like that bit about having chats with people about what you're going through and what you're growing through.
Yeah.
And then if I can have some good leads from it and have some good conversations, that'd be ideal. I always say sell one from each show. We did 7 last year from 3 shows.
Okay, that's really good.
So
well done.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
I've been so professional, haven't I?
I'm really surprised you've only sworn 3 times.
Yeah, I've been so professional.
You make me feel
you make me feel better. I'm going to be professional, Steph.